What a time in history. What a position to be in. What an expression on your face. What a feeling of confusion. I was ordered the borders was aim for what's the release of this to be the part of his eye find this absurd enough to be. Contemplating everything before we must exchange. Just pretend to get a release of the ugly unwanted to define those intentions to guys that I have vows. Let's look back at the beginning. It's time to take it. Pause. Rewind footsteps. Back for familiar edge and place for the dull knives to meet. Revealing insides you wouldn't express this about me. Needs for chance of salvation. Doing a different kind of damn. Different kind of guy you lean towards that forward motion. This is like the most mutual cooperation away from the rifts and cliffs, and this is tiptoes, and this is away for the tear, for the separating of the serpents and skins, and this is feeling of the peeling off of the radiating of the generation. Broke eye sockets drained for lack of vision. Empty time banks left unfulfilled. Earth tones retuned, swayed enough with lunacy to pull the severity for their own life jacket to give in any moment. And the moon for the fun or honor given any remembrance. This will be the learning language of the simplicity enough for the gentleness of the moon after the devil is like again. Gentleness and enough for the smile for the flower language of the perfume stench of your deep seat past teeth clenched fear. Veiled fist that falls and unfettered for the free flies, you fiends on wings on feet. Witness the birth, the rebirth, presenting the fortunes like silver from stringing the constellations. Captivating the truth, it's real. Set it up so many for the choir song. Cross the dodge away with all souls, this is stand behind some. Some credits for the destroyed for the shadow. bitter thoughts, caught release, words to spell in the sky in plain sight of eyes. Witness, testify, pass quest to answer the belief. Stretch for the vines, suspend gravity for weeks. Weekend picnics to kicks the grass barefoot. Like a keychain, a charm for arms and talisman. Shortcoming, it took long to arrive to raise in this area. You aren't arranged to articulate on time for the calculation of collisions that weren't accident but relative for the Einstein's theory, not for weary tested eyed and dotted this across the T's and T's stretched out like blind huggers. Mug your depression to the finger press nerves and stress verbs. This to confess the words of the message to prescribe. I combine the science. Message your age and message your massage males. Those are misogynistic for the stamp of the to find the centers to the return to the read to the bloody to the transmission. Translate to fiction, quick frictions. From fact and petition to the pet peeves and this to deceive. Believe it's to perceive without water for the life of the right for this to draw conclusions to decisions in television with this and true. But if you book a program to misguide the tune, when idols be ideologies, apologies repetitively, oblivious to contagious repetition, the patterns, with the pack for distractions that's attracted to sleep for the RAM. REM, deep in the narcissism and the wisdom. Maybe the much the compound word for the oxymorotic, dumb, wise, and disadvised, and advert, pervers, nerve sore, those curved thieves, gutter, glue, climax, maximize, circumcise, or the panel glide for the gladly, glory, gladiators, and red divide delight for cutes, and this, and ain't even cute and ugly enough for to execute. Levity intensify the line and late to the view, become led to slay the slippery sled to wet the bride the bread, bacon to bake the bake them in the bakery, put the yeast that rise, occasion brown and buttery bread, ever for the Caucasian persuasion invasions, and no patience or the medication to meditate or mediators, and this is the follow up immediately. You see that dilated people, you can find the people to see the pink eye, and it's called clearly clears those in their eyes and ears and cloudy rowdy crowds of those supine and prey. Proudly passing those of being accepted to what's near society for the lack and lick, and this with the cow tongue for the lean upon the plate, upon the palate for the air to draw the dirty laundry, anyway for the all over the town, sometimes or even told otherwise. Smothered to the demise and denoted your promise and compromise. You can organize well.
Struggle to speak, can't say the words I need now. Struggle to speak, living life just to learn how. And I can't breathe, dramatic but it hurts now. No, I can't breathe, pretend to love the worst. How can you sleep? The light just hurts my eyes. I can't sleep, the shadow shuts the blinds. Go down on me, well I'm sorry to complain. The keys don't play the song the same. The match won't spark and show its flame. Can you sleep, the light just hurts my eyes. And I can't sleep, the shadow shuts the blinds. Go down on me, well I'm sorry to complain. The keys don't play the song the same. The match won't spark and show its flame. Can you sleep? The light just hurts my eyes. And I can't sleep, the shadow shuts the blinds. Down on me, well I'm sorry to complain. The keys don't play the song the same. The match won't spark and show its flame.
Example, not to be be exempt with this to simplify. Promise to the question, this could be the answers. For every leading that's to tell me the promise that you use critical thought keys for the promise to develop your independence in the thought. Promise to educate myself and make their own judgments. That this would be the leaders that would tell me that this would be the only candle in the dark. You can lead it to science. You can lead it to fiction. I'm not at the contradiction. The contract to the contract has made the contact. Because all put that for the waking and death for the life that puts us to sleep again for the preparation for the mornings because of you for the cause and you and all for the forever be true for the long and you will be the end for the thank you for your love and peace and I may have the opportunity to receive that to believe you will have that faith that this is what's going on for the bestow for the become we are made that for the one but we came for the left that we should all we cross the living for the crossroads we lost we never found that for the never lose again for what's gained for your name for the we are tame your name your direction we came your absence was the blame for the life of the we flame the we faith for the brain and what for the been spoken to speak and that's to get the tape for the limb the bends is sin and never the defendant adventures and another annoyance and this one anointing for the accusing and the pointing elbows and joints burn for the vine for the we yearn that for the this be the ignorance and the learn enough of discernment for the confirming and tender harder for the rival the dirty departed for the kissing into the vow I now owe this to see the grow for the looking high to low the fastest so the flow enough for the current affirmation the informative for the tender force and the nature that we count for the power for the we app conduits this will be the duplicate for the crooked demons and you demonstrate that obtuse and distant apple one for no winning for this one to wait to scale to this be called the evils to devolve the problems to solve for the almighty for the all right for what's left of this decided not for the most high for the subtract your admire for the missing admission of missing the mark for the close the eyes dark to see the light for the arrow goes out to the bullet for the enemy within that for the without withdrawn for the within to penetrate this to be the penetration the right the righteousness to defend for the fineness and this would be the hearts of the treasure your chest to protect the ribcage sacred is the heart for the art for the there in heaven for the earth for the scale for this would be the turf for the seeds of the dirt for the foot for the hurt for the word for the birth for this what this tail for the soul for the sin derived to depart for the depending on the faith for the accumulated for the masturbated for the evaluated for the sight for the might be darker enough for the light perceived enough for the one we believe in to be not loose and for the knots of the blood for the land for the clots her out and after the roading and the rotting for the rotation for the protestant for the protesting rights and that's the raise of the field the hunger for the rich to pour out accounts defeated and needed and needles that would inject that for the love the hearts to depart that for the bad blood had that for the lack of the forgiveness and forces that would rule the bad that is wood and burn that for the wood for the breath for the still standing never landing in the landing in hands and that's the cause of plea planning plants of pleasure for the play apply but please that for the pleasures measures that for the lesser leases and marriages divided divorces of course they couldn't contract the signs and seek to meet with this strength to weak the long and strong and shortcuts of the length and wide hide to found amount for the free throw for the beat for the softened teeth for the jerk that work for this work that meet the greet slam that swam that sea saw the rock the lot lose the boost reclusive enough to induce one's all prepare for the pain dissolving for the proper probation nations rations and ratios and pat the backs and patios in front for the carpentry for the penalty the sentences penetrate the free to pan for the eighth the trees reason leaves those trees and trees these themes of this and them themselves and themes of this and hymns and that for the flood ground square well writing for the standard for the profound and loss of origin original humans and like the spiritual humanity for the vanity not vain for the heart to blame this aim the clouds of this ladder for the jacob of the fame for the tens of those who trend to bend hinder for the splinter for the hands of the super branches statues suppressing the prices the taxes steal the crabs and those stoves stop those stagnant for the bitter sisters for the gift of the bliss the kisses this is what the miss of that for the misses for the dish middle of the deadly bread for the who read that word for the before the reading and the reading over sustain for the substance and stands to that for the dance and advance that to the sub the basic grace and beat the drum music to hum the to find the Solomon saying the rain to ears to disappear the rhythm of the necessary the necessities needs the aunties of prophecy not the prophet for the deficiency for the grief for the officials what's that referred to referees and reform to refuse reform formulate insubordinate action defeats the feed off the knees of this indeed for the dead sleep that for the fleas who fled flying spells the bread words belief for the relief that not leave the ignorance of the darkness and depth of hell rising like a helium and soaring over the snoring and the roar of the lions truth and the agnostic apostle this is loud the mouth for the bottle that drive for the third for the thirst so this is die for the dehydrated seek for the elevation 11 for the genes and the generations like a Levi's leaven enough for the leavening and the devils to take away for the deep for the word for the this to be the evil for the evil the due to Satan natural Saturn night for the satin tan itself strong the days not to reach the decrease and living for the seasons of the sons of the sea to breathe the feet to take to die for the days to heat the breath of life